get it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. I'm your guys' host, SchuZ Schumaker. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal Tuesday, or if you guys are tuning in on Wednesday, hope you guys are having a blessed Wednesday as well. But with that being said, we got another pretty quick show going down tomorrow, or today. Tomorrow, I will be having a guest on the show again. I will be announcing that in a little bit. The show will be going live at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow, so you guys can tune in at that point in time. I'll let you guys know who will be on the show then as well. But for today's show, I've got a lot of boxing news we're going to get into, so let's just hop right on into it. First one is this. Tenshin Nasukawa has welcomed a Naoya Inoue fight. Tenshin Nasukawa welcomed a Japanese super fight against Naoya Inoue. The bantamweight contender recently stated in an interview, "I'm sure I'll do the Inoue fight when the time comes. It will become clear once I clear each of the world title fights, so please look forward to it." Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Tenshin, this is a man that's very, very entertaining. I think he's one of the most entertaining fighters that's up and coming in Japanese boxing at this point in time. And I think it's only a matter of time until he's going to emerge on the world level stage. And when he's on that stage, obviously the fights with a guy like Junto, a guy like Naoya Inoue, so on and so forth, will then be available to him. And so he's on a trajectory. Obviously, he's going to have to continue to work his way up and build on that level. But all I can say is this. Obviously, Inoue's at a certain point in his career where I still believe he's got a couple more good years in him. But on the back end of those couple of years, we know obviously he's got the MJ fight upcoming. We know he's going to get a fight down in the end of the year. And then we know most likely the Junto Nakatani fight will happen. Whether then he moves up to 126 or whatever happens then, by the next, let's call it a year and a half, the Tenshin fight could very well be on the table. And that would be a very entertaining fight to possibly see have happen. All right. This is going to be something interesting. I feel like I brought this up a few different times over the duration of the past, what do you want to call it? The past week and a half now, and that is in regard to Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. So here's the news that came out, Sports Illustrated now. It says this: there has been frustration with Lopez throughout the process, I'm told. The focus has shifted to finding another opponent for Stevenson, with Lamont Roach a leading candidate. But following that news that came out, then it ended up transpiring that Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez are both going back and forth with each other on X, and supposedly it appears that there could possibly even be a deal in place. Let me just make this very clear. Teofimo Lopez has the pressure on him in this situation. I've always been a big supporter of Teo in terms of what he brings to the ring. Now, obviously, what he does outside of the ring, the way he promotes himself, I'm not a big fan of that whatsoever. But what he does inside of the ring, I think he's a very, very skilled boxer. I think he's one of the best in all the world. However, because of what Teofimo Lopez has done outside of the ring by running this thing right here, he has put himself in a tough predicament. As for Shakur Stevenson, he can go get whatever fight he really wants right now, probably outside of Tank Davis, because we don't know what that man's doing anyways. Shakur Stevenson's in a very good place in his boxing career at this moment in time because of what he did against William Zepeda. For Teofimo Lopez, he could be in a similar situation, but his mouth ran a little bit too long. He ducked a couple different big fights right there, and now he's stuck in a very tough predicament. So if you are Teofimo Lopez, you better not be the one holding up this fight right now. If you are Teofimo Lopez, you need the Shakur Stevenson fight to happen. Why? Because there's not too many other offers on the table for yourself right now. You've already ducked a couple of different opponents. You've already slipped away from them. You've run your mouth a lot, and you've got yourself in a very bad predicament. So if you are Teofimo Lopez right now and you look at all the fights on the table for yourself, this is the one you have to make. No ifs, ands, or buts. Shakur Stevenson will be fine whether or not this fight gets made. I know Shakur wants to become possibly another champion at 140. I know he wants that big challenge for himself. It would look great on his resume. But he does not need that in his career right now. He's going to land a big fight regardless in 2026. If you are Teofimo Lopez, though, your main emphasis and your goal right now needs to be to make sure you do whatever is possible under your care to make sure this fight happens. You need a big fight to happen right now. And if you get a win against Shakur Stevenson with as hot as his name currently is, that would do wonders for his career. So if you're Teofimo Lopez right now, you need to make sure you talk to whoever's managing yourself and you get in that room right now and you say, guess what? I need to make this fight happen. I will do whatever it takes. Let me go out there and fight Shakur Stevenson and prove why I'm a 140 champion. Because if he does that, his name will be looking quite well, and he's going to be in a very good place in his own career if he goes forth and makes that fight happen. So if you're Teofimo Lopez, make sure that fight gets done. Stop making excuses. Stop ducking guys. Make the fight with Shakur Stevenson happen. That's one of your very few big fights left on the offer sheet right now for yourself. Go make it happen. You need that fight at this moment in time. Now, I also talked about this. When I was giving you guys a recap of the weekend's fights, I went into depth on what could possibly be coming to fruition now in regards to Jaron Ennis. So let me lay out a quick little potential outline sheet. Now, this is very, very a big estimate. We don't know what's going to happen right now. However, Let me just lay this out for you guys because I feel like this could possibly be a run for Boots Ennis that solidifies himself within the top 10 pound for pound and also makes him one of those top guys of this era if he does this correctly. Let me break this down for you guys right now. When Baru upset Tellez this past weekend, immediately the WBA ordered Jermell Charlo and Baru to fight for each other. Now, why is that significant? Because Baru will be elevated to a world champion for the WBA immediately when Terrence Bud Crawford steps in the ring against Canelo Alvarez. So you have Jermell Charlo fighting Baru for a world championship. We already have on deck Jaron Boots Ennis fighting Lima. Let's say Jaron Boots Ennis defeats Lima, that then sets himself up in great position as the number one contender to go out there and fight the winner Jermell Charlo and Baru. Let's say Jermell Charlo wins that fight. You then will be fighting, if you're Boots Ennis, a world championship fight against Jermell Charlo. That would be a massive name on your resume. Let's say he goes forth and wins that fight. You now will have defeated Lima at 154. You then proceed and go out there and defeat Jermell Charlo in that fight, and you're put yourself in a great position. As world champion for the WBA at 154, you are now a 2-weight class world champion. What's the next big step to make? Well, let's look forward to possibly the summertime of 2026, maybe even early fall. Jaron Boots Ennis could possibly return to the ring, and if on the other backside of this, Vergil Ortiz is making his proper moves and getting himself in position to become world champion, you could very easily have a unification fight at 154 between two of the top guys in all of boxing, two of the biggest names, possibly even making the biggest fight in America in 2026 between Vergil Ortiz, Jaron Boots Ennis at 154. And as I'm speaking about Jaron Boots Ennis, let's say hypothetically that Jaron Boots Ennis can then become a unified world champion at 154. I understand this could be the very same case for Vergil Ortiz, but just stay with me for a moment now. If you are Vergil Ortiz or if you are Jaron Boots Ennis, you have a chance over the next duration of the calendar year to make 3 fights. A tune-up fight against Lima at 154, become world champion against potentially Jermell Charlo at 154 for the WBA, and then possibly even unify with Vergil Ortiz at 154. If we are looking at this situation unfolding the way I just listed it out, and it has to go according to plan, obviously he has to win all these fights, he would be a 2-weight world champion. He would have unified in 2 divisions, and at that point in time, Jaron Boots Ennis would be one of the top fighters in all the world. He would solidify himself in the pound-for-pound list. He would be one of the top fighters without a shadow of a doubt, and he would have those big wins against a guy like Charlo, against a guy like Vergil Ortiz on his resume. Now, this is obviously a bold claim to make, but the path is now there. If you are Jaron Boots Ennis and you're his camp and you're Eddie Hearn, you're looking at the possible outline for the next calendar year for Jaron Boots Ennis. It's looking quite bright. There is a chance that the next year could be massive for Jaron Boots Ennis, where if I were to have this conversation 1 year from now at the back end of August in 2026, as I just said, we could be looking at Jaron Boots Ennis without a shadow of a doubt as a locked in on everybody's pound-for-pound top 10 list and a man that has now solidified himself as one of the top fighters in boxing at that point in time. A lot of things have to go right, but that is currently on the table for Jaron Boots Ennis. As for another big fight, now we fast forward to November 22nd, we know this could be one of the best fight cards ever put together. Although there's this interesting thing, a bit of news came out this past day, and that is that Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith is not finished. Interesting. Well, let's just give you guys a little bit of insight here. If we recall, Turki Al-Sheikh confirmed in the ring right after Subriel Matias beat Alberto Puello that this fight was going to happen. But it now comes out to fruition that, well, actually, that fight was very, very far off from even getting made. And how do we know this? Well, Dalton Smith has now said the WBC title fight versus Subriel Matias has not been confirmed yet for November 22nd Riyadh. His exact quote is this: "I believe there's some purse bids coming up. I think the fight is going to happen November time, but nothing has been confirmed yet. It's still a possibility it'll happen on the Riyadh card." Really? Now, this is interesting. I know Turki Al-Sheikh can make things happen, and if anybody's going to solve this issue quickly, it's going to be Turki Al-Sheikh. But if you're in this situation, it just seems irresponsible. First of all, the Dalton Smith was a little bit shocking for him to even be at the fight and then go out into the middle of the ring and face off with Matias. But Turki Al-Sheikh wanted to make it happen, so on and so forth. It just seems a little bit odd, though. You probably would want to wait for that fight to get finalized. But now we fast forward and we're the back end of August, and the fight's not finalized yet. So it does make a little bit of an interesting predicament as to why Turki Al-Sheikh even went out there, tried making this fight appear as if it was finalized at that point in time. I think it will happen. Turki Al-Sheikh has the money. He's going to probably make it happen. It's just interesting. Why would you go out there and do this before the fight has even been finalized? Shane McGuigan was asked about Adam Azim's promotional situation on Boxer, and this is his exact quote right here. "I can't comment on that. We are working hard to make sure every move is the right one. There is no shortage of people that want to put money up for him. It's more just the fact that to get credible opponents and put the money up for him too. That's the whole point. We don't want to just go with someone who's going to give him a load of money up front for him, but then we've got 45 pounds to pay for an unknown opponent. It doesn't make any sense. All right. Well, this is interesting, folks. Adam Azim is one of the most entertaining and eye-catching prospects in all boxing right now, specifically in British boxing. This is a man that has a bright future. Has it been managed properly promotionally over the past year? Absolutely not. It's been abysmal, to be quite frankly honest with you. And this is why with the whole box situation, it appears that we're learning more and more so that these deals and these contracts were signed with a TV contract in mind, not just from a promotional standpoint alone, which is why we've now seen guys sort of separate ways. Joshua Buatsi was one of them, and now we're seeing Adam Azim possibly do his own thing as well. With BBC now being there, no longer Sky Sports, it's opened that door. And if you're Shane McGowan and you're the guys backing Adam Azim, you have to realize this. The past year of Adam Azim's life has not been managed well whatsoever. It's been horribly managed. This is a man that should be progressing, should be top 5, potentially even in the rankings right now. He's not finding the proper opponents. He's not being promoted properly. He's been screwed over time and time again. And if you are looking at this situation, it's time for him to start progressing. What Boxer has done with him has been irresponsible on many different facets. And so if you are Adam Azim and his team, you need to seriously look at what's best for him. I think going with either Queensberry or Matchroom would do wonders for his career. He's ready for it. It's time to start stepping up and progress in his career to a point where he's finding the top guys. He's ready to make big moves, and he can start to progress in the right ways. Because the way his career has been managed to this point in time has not been good whatsoever. The last thing I want to get into on today's show, as long as there's no other comments in the comment section, which I do not see currently, is this. Dillian Whyte has announced that he will continue his boxing career. This is not where my story ends. I may have lost the fight, but not the fire that built me. Thank you to everyone who has been standing by me through the highs and lows. I will be back. Well, honestly, a little bit shocked by that. You know, I saw the Mosi Toma fight happen. We already knew he was on his final legs. He gets KO'd in the very first round. It seemed like a proper time to go and move away from boxing. However, Dillian Whyte wants to return. Now, let me make this very clear. I believe that if he's going to return, it's going to be a fight against someone like a Derek Chisora, possibly, in a final fight between the two of them. It's going to be something either like that or easily winnable fight, a guy that would sell a lot of big tickets, something like that, so he can go out on better terms. Because going out, I guess, for a guy that does have a decent record in a career against a guy like Mosi Toma in a first-round brutal KO isn't probably the ideal way, but at the same time, if you're Dillian Whyte, why put more damage on your body? It's his decision. I'm not going to enforce anything. I can't enforce anything. How many people really want to go out there and watch him? I don't think there's too many. Obviously, there are some fans he still has, but at the end of the day, this is a man that was busted with PEDs. This is a man that has not looked very good post-PED, and he's just been knocked out by Mosi Toma in the first round. Is his next fight going to sell very well? I highly doubt it. Unless it is in the right situation, right place. As I said, a guy like Derek Chisora, a guy like that or something, I could see that fight happening. But if those aren't on the table, go get one last fight on an undercard somewhere and then move on from boxing. The point is, there's not a bright future for Dillian Whyte. He's not going to have a lot of big fights on the table. He's not going to be putting himself in a position where there's lots of opportunities for himself. And also, if you're Dillian Whyte, you're aging. There's not much more money to make for yourself. You're on the tail end of your career. Might as well just go out there and call it a career, move on, unless you have one other fight lined up. Only time will tell, but that's what I've got in store and what I believe will happen for Dillian Whyte moving forward. With that being said, as I said, today was going to be a very short episode. I don't see any things in the chat at this moment in time, but what I will say is this. I will be back live very shortly. About 13 hours from now, I'll be back live. 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will see you guys there. I will announce the guest tomorrow morning. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your guys' day. May God bless you guys all. I'll see you guys back live. I said 13 hours, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. May God bless you guys all. And with that being said, SchuZ out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless you guys.